I think I was hyponatremic basically every race, or really dehydrated because I'm a pretty salty sweater.
Yeah.
I got my sweat tested and found out I'm like 1,800 milligrams a liter. And once I was able to increase my salt intake, it was like night and day.
Jeff, tell us how your day played out yesterday.
It was a great day. I felt like we were racing from the first steps, and that continued for 100 miles, and it was very, very fun. I faded back a bit around mile 30. Some people made a move, and I looked at my heart rate, and I was like, not going. Backed off, and then spent 20 miles catching back up, and moved from 10th to 4th, and Killian and I went back and forth for 50 miles, which was pretty fun. And yeah, I ended up with, I guess it was the fastest debut time ever. So
yeah, we
can't
saw
complain
that.
about that.
No, and I was going to ask you about that early pace. You've kind of started to describe it there, but it went out very, very hot. Was your game plan always just to go with the pace? I
wanted to run the race the day was going to give me. And my kind of mantra for the first half was push, but with patience.
Yeah.
So if the opportunity presented itself to push, I'd push, but knowing it was a 14-hour race.
Yeah. And what about the nutritional side of things? Because I heard you were hitting some pretty high carbohydrate numbers, especially early on.
Yeah, I started around 150 an hour, so with a PF 90 and then a 60-gram bottle of carb mix. And then my plan was to start with that and then back off as we went along, and that is what happened. But I feel like it's like a nice cushion in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's probably trickled down to like 90 to 110 for the rest of the race. The last 2 hours were ugly, but
yeah. Do you think that's the heat, or do you think that's just the body breaking down? What's your theory on that?
I think I was just, mentally, physically so fried. It's hard to keep eating. Like just that extra putting something in your body seems terrible. But my pacers were good. On my watch would beep, and I'd be like, okay, in the next 20 minutes, I have to finish this gel. And we were able to continue it, but it was just really, really hard.
Yeah. And you're pretty new to the precision sort of squad system, if you like. How did you find precision?
I just found it because it made sense. I struggled for a long time with what I now know is I think I was hyponatremic basically every race, or really dehydrated because I'm a pretty salty sweater.
Yeah.
I got my sweat tested and found out I'm like 1,800 milligrams a liter. And once I was able to increase my salt intake, it was like night and day.
Yeah.
And precision just makes so much sense because the salt isn't mixed in already. You get to do it to you.
Yeah.
And the PF 90s are so sweet because you can just inhale those things. It's awesome.
No, it's a good system. I'm a salty sweater myself, and it's actually why I set the company up in the first place, because regular sports nutrition just didn't cut it for people like us.
Yeah, I realized I've been undersalting for 10 years, and fixed it essentially before the Javelina 100 last year, and it was like 99 degrees, and I think I did like 120 grams of carbs an hour, and finished relatively hydrated. Yesterday, I was the first to pee in drug testing, so I'll call it a win.
Yeah, we actually commented on that. We saw you coming out of the tent, and we said that you were maybe the best at the post-race sample giving.
Yeah, that's never happened in my life. I definitely think figuring out this salt in my sweat was a massive game changer.
Awesome. I've got to ask you about one aspect of the race. You were obviously like jousting with the greatest of all time for a short while, and what's going through your head when you're running toe-to-toe with Killian Jornet for like half of the race?
Yeah, believe it or not, nothing in some ways. I did a lot of mental preparation for this race, and part of that was forgetting about who was in it. And so he was just another person I had to compete against, and I put all of his accolades and accomplishments behind me, and the fact that I look up to him and have known about him for ever. And he was just someone I had to race. And now I'm like, hey, that was pretty fun. But it was awesome trading blows for 50 miles. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I bet. Last question for you, Jeff. What do you do, and what are you going to do to recover from a 100-mile race like this, and how quickly do you sort of get back into training? Because I'm always curious about how quickly the body can bounce back.
That's a great question. I definitely play it by feel a lot. I'll take this week off, and my fiance and I will go backpacking for 3 or 4 or 5 days and just walk around slowly in the mountains, and then I'll try running after that. But take it easy, eat a lot, put the feet up.
What's your go-to post-race meal when you get the hunger on? What's the first thing you reach for?
Oh man, oftentimes it's chocolate chip cookies. Yesterday, it took me 3 hours to eat half a cheeseburger. So it's different every time, but honestly, whatever's closest.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. So impressed, mate. Great result.
Thank you, appreciate it.